Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky's recent European trip to secure military and diplomatic support faced setbacks, according to a report by Bild. His two main objectives were securing long-range German Taurus missiles to target Russian positions and accelerating Ukraine's accession to NATO. However, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz neither outright denied these requests nor gave a positive response, leaving Zelensky's demands unmet. Germany has been reluctant to provide Taurus missiles, which can hit targets up to 500 kilometers away, due to concerns over escalation and the risk of being directly involved in the war. Scholz has suggested that missile deliveries would only be considered if Berlin could control the targeting, which would essentially make Germany a participant in the conflict. Zelensky's diplomatic efforts also hit a stumbling block when he was unable to meet with U.S. President Joe Biden, who remained in the U.S. to address Hurricane Milton. An unnamed Ukrainian official suggested that Biden's absence was an excuse to avoid addressing the Ukraine conflict amid the ongoing U.S. election campaign. Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned that if Ukraine is allowed to use Western-supplied long-range missiles to attack deep within Russia, it would be seen as NATO waging war against Moscow. Putin has even updated Russia's nuclear policy to classify such actions as crossing the threshold for using nuclear weapons, escalating the stakes in the conflict. NATO has launched its annual Steadfast Noon nuclear drills in Western Europe amid escalating tensions with Russia over the Ukraine conflict. The exercise, which began on Monday, involves 13 NATO members and focuses on deploying American nuclear weapons under the bloc's nuclear sharing arrangement. Around 2,000 military personnel from 8 air bases, along with over 60 aircraft, including nuclear-capable fighter jets, bombers, and support aircraft, are participating. Flights will primarily occur over Belgium and the Netherlands, with operations also extending into Denmark, the UK, and the North Sea. NATO emphasized that no live weapons are being used during the 2-week drills. NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte, who took office in October, stressed the importance of testing and strengthening the bloc's defense capabilities to signal readiness against any potential threats. The exercise follows a similar joint nuclear drill conducted this summer by Russia and its ally Belarus, which Moscow described as a response to increasing Western hostility. Russia's decision to station nuclear weapons in Belarus mirrors NATO's own joint deterrence strategies. Last month, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced plans to amend Russia's nuclear doctrine. These changes would allow Moscow to consider an attack by a non-nuclear country, supported by a nuclear one, as a joint threat, potentially justifying a nuclear retaliation. While the U.S. and its allies have accused Russia of nuclear blackmail, Moscow views the Ukraine conflict as a proxy war waged by the West, warning that growing Western involvement could escalate into a direct confrontation. North Korea has ordered its frontline artillery units to be fully prepared to fire on South Korea, following accusations that the South sent drones carrying propaganda leaflets over Pyongyang. The North state-run KCNA news agency reported that these alleged incidents, which occurred 3 times in October, have escalated tensions to the point of requiring a military response. Previously, North Korea has retaliated against similar propaganda campaigns by sending balloons filled with trash and excrement into South Korea. But this time, the response involves military mobilization. On October 12th, North Korea's General Staff reportedly issued a preliminary operation order for combined artillery units along the border to prepare for firing. 8 artillery brigades have been placed on standby, fully armed at wartime strength. According to a 2020 RAND Corporation report, North Korea has over 10,000 artillery pieces positioned along the border, with 6,000 within range of major South Korean cities. In the event of war, RAND estimated that more than 205,000 people could be killed within an hour in cities such as Seoul, Incheon, and Gimpo. Kim Yo-jong, the sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, labeled the alleged leaflet dropping as a grave, politically motivated provocation and warned of horrible disaster if South Korean drones are spotted over Pyongyang again. While South Korea's defense minister initially denied the use of drones in North Korean airspace, The Joint Chiefs of Staff later said they could not confirm the allegations. The heightened tensions follow North Korea's recent testing of a new variant of the Hwasong-11 ballistic missile, armed with a massive 4.5-ton warhead. This test came shortly after the US and South Korea conducted large-scale military exercises, which North Korea condemned as aggressive provocations. The United States has ordered the deployment of a THAAD, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense air defense system, to Israel, along with a crew of U.S. service members, marking the first time U.S. combat troops have been stationed in Israel since the Israel-Hamas conflict began last year. The move comes after Iran launched ballistic missile attacks on Israel on April 13th and October 1st. According to Pentagon Press Secretary Major Gen Pat Ryder, the THAAD system and U.S. personnel are being deployed to strengthen Israel's air defenses in light of these attacks. The THAAD system is designed to intercept ballistic missiles during their descent phase using kinetic energy, and each battery consists of 95 soldiers and 6 truck-mounted launchers, with a total of 48 interceptors. U.S. President Joe Biden, who had previously stated he had no intention of sending U.S. troops into combat in the region, ordered this deployment. The U.S. has previously deployed THAAD systems to Saudi Arabia and Israel for training, but this marks the first deployment in the current conflict. Tensions are high following Iran's missile strikes, which Tehran claims were a legitimate response to Israel's assassinations of key figures, including Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh and Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Israel is expected to retaliate, possibly targeting Iranian oil or nuclear infrastructure. The U.S. has advised Israel against such actions, warning that Iran has promised proportional retaliation against Israeli infrastructure in response. Iranian Foreign Minister Sayed Abbas Araghchi warned that deploying U.S. troops to operate missile systems in Israel puts their lives at risk amidst the escalating tensions.